Welcome to the Actor's Choice, where the actors and actresses have a chance to talk about themselves and their careers. Join us now for the next hour as we explore the marvelous industry of acting by actors and actresses from today's exciting show business world. And now, direct from Hollywood, here's your host, Ron Brewington.
Hi, everybody. I'm Ron Brewington, and welcome to the Actor's Choice. Before we begin today's program, we'd like to take a few moments to remember former Secretary of State Colin Powell, who passed today of COVID complications. He was 84 years old. Now, we sincerely dedicate this program to General Powell, who was a patriot, a trailblazer, and a staunch defender of democracy. May he rest in peace. Thank you, General, for what you did for us. Thank you. Roll it, Tony.
You outdid yourself, Terry.
Thank you, Daddy. You want to try another helping?
No. Double seconds is my limit.
Anybody else?
I'm to the gills.
Me too. It was delicious.
Good. Now, Daddy, you're gonna have to wait on the vanilla mousse.
Oh.
It needs a few more minutes to set.
Thanks a lot, sweetheart.
You're welcome, but I will make some coffee.
Oh, that'll be great.
I'll do that.
No need to, Mother.
The least I can do is clear.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are blessed and highly favored to have a well-known veteran, now retired actress as our first guest today. Now, she has graced the television screen since 1968. She retired as an actress in 2004, acquiring 52 IMDb actress credits. You may remember her for many roles, just as I do, especially for the hit series that she did in The Heat of the Night, which I happen to be looking at right now on the other side of my television set at that time. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome now author Denise Nichols. Denise, bless you. Thank you for coming on our show. Welcome to the Actor's Choice.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, ma'am. Since this is about biography, let's start with where you were born.
In the Motor City.
Motor City.
I'm from Detroit.
There it is. There's Motor City.
I'm very proud of being from Detroit.
Now, I know that Motown Records was started in January of 1959, so you had a chance to grow up with some of that.
Yeah, the music was everywhere. I mean, it was like coming out of the pores of the air. It was just, Detroit was like that in those days. And it was Motown, but it was also jazz. There was a lot of jazz there. There were a lot of jazz clubs. So it was, I don't know if it still is. It was a very musical place. It really was.
Got you. They're doing a renovation, multi-million-dollar renovation to the actual home, building that they use, the studios. So that should be very nice, very nice.
They need to. It's about time.
Yes.
It's about time.
Indeed. Now, after graduating from high school, you entered the University of Michigan Law School.
No. Undergraduate.
Okay.
Yes.
But did you ever have aspirations for being a lawyer?
I did. I had a number of aspirations, none of which have panned out. I was going to be a teacher. I was going to be a lawyer. I was going to be a diplomat. I wanted to be in the foreign service. And here I am.
And here you are. People don't understand. We all go through these changes. When we were at a certain age, I want to do this. And when another age, I want to do that. And I changed. What you change your mind? We do that. That's what we do.
Yeah, I think when we're that age, we also see it all as a big banquet. It's like I can make my choices. We're not thinking about the difficulty of achieving those goals, especially as Black people at that time. Although, there's still a lot of difficulty in terms of pursuit of careers for Black people. But certainly when you're 17 and 18 years old, the sky is the limit. I mean, it's just like, hey, I can go to the moon. I can do everything. And nothing's going to stop me. So, yes.
Well spoken. But you changed your mind about being a lawyer. So what did you do next?
Well, I heard about a theater that was being started in Mississippi as a part of the civil rights movement.
Okay.
So that's what I did. I got on a train in Ann Arbor, and I went to Chicago, and then I went to Jackson, Mississippi to join the Free Southern Theater, which is what I did for 2 years.
Gotcha. Now that's 2 years of being in the deep, deep South, wasn't it?
Yes.
You see that picture? Do you recognize that picture?
Yes, I do. Absolutely recognize that picture. That's me playing an elderly lady when I was 19.
Amazing.
the face all down and the makeup.
Still an actress. I don't care what you say, still an actress.
Probably. Till the bitter end, you're right.
My dear, man, indeed, indeed. And then you went to New York City and joined the Negro Ensemble Company.
Mhm. It was, I did, when I first got to New York, I did a play with Lynn and
Yes.
Harris Hewlin and all, and that was great. That was like my entree into the city, even though we toured all through the Midwest and back to New York. And then I heard about the Negro Ensemble Company, and I
Yes.
wanted to audition and met with him, and eventually was accepted into the company.
Gotcha.
And that was incredible. That was Robert Hooks, Douglas Turner Ward, and Lonnie Elder. And that was wonderful, wonderful experience.
Indeed. Speaking of Robert Hooks, I found this small video where there's you and him together. He's talking about when you received the Career Mastered Woman History Living Legend Award. Roll it, Tony.
And your wonderful work as an actress at the NEC, and then after that, taking off and becoming a movie star and all that. So I knew you win, John.
Yes, you did.
Who you win?
You knew me when I had to go take voice classes to get the Mississippi drawl out of my voice, and I'm not even from Mississippi.
Outstanding.
I couldn't hear it.
Well, when you get this day, we'll send you a copy of the show.
Okay, what did he say?
He's talking about how graceful that you had done while you worked at the Negro Ensemble Company.
Okay, that's
and
good.
He just felt that he wanted to let you know from the bottom of their heart how they felt, because as you know, there's inner city cultural centers, all these different African-American organizations, and many famous people came out of it, like yourself, came out of it. You can tell that story better than I can, but it's the way it was, and it's great, great. I'm just hoping that I'll send a copy of this to Robert Hooks and say, Robert,
please do.
Talked about
That'd
you.
be great. That would be great.
Indeed. Now, let's fast forward. You made your way out of here to California. You want to come here to California. What was that experience like when you came here to California?
Well, in New York, I was working only in theater. I had one little teeny tiny acting job on television while I was still in New York. But when I screen tested for Room 222, actually ABC flew me to California for the screen test. Then I went back to New York to wait to see if I had gotten the job. They had screen tested a ton of people. And then they called me out for a second screen test, which I came out. They brought me out here. I did that. That was called a personality test. So then I went back to New York to wait and got the call that I got the job. So then they sent me back out here. And I started work on the series.
Right.
I didn't even own a TV then. I was all about the theater. So I had to rent a TV when I got out here so I could see my own TV show. Really.
Got you. See, people don't understand that actors and actresses are dedicated people. I mean, last week on our show, we had the Actors Fund, and we talked about the fact that actors, the minimum amount of money that people make is $5,000 a year.
Yeah.
How you gonna live in LA on $5,000 a year?
You cannot, unless you live in a tent on the sidewalk.
Exactly.
I mean, it's true. It's, I think I grew up with a kind of fervent fear of poverty, I'll call it. So I was going to push myself and work as hard as I could, as whatever profession I was going to be in, to avoid that grim possibility of being very poor. Because I'm telling you, if you put poor together with Black in this country, you in trouble. Okay, so I said, I got enough to deal with. I'm a woman. I'm Black. I'm multiracial looking. I don't want to be also poor. I mean, because those things are fine. It's just that they're not honored, or were not honored so much at that time. A little bit better now, much better now.
Yes, but it sure took a long time, the work of people like you, to get it where it is.
Oh, and we're slipping. We need to get back to work, because we're slipping back into the 1800s around here. It's awful. Yeah, I see what's happening. It's scary. It's scary.
Scary. It was 1968. You got your first IMDb actress for taking the role of, let me see if I can say this right, Tuosdihai. Tuosdihai.
What is that? Oh,
that was your name. And when you hit It Takes a Thief, when you were there with Robin Williams. Did I say that
I
right?
need to see that again. I haven't seen that in years.
Yes.
He was nice. Robert Wagner was very, very nice, very kind.
Yes.
Because I was, I was the new kid on the block out here, and I was pretty nervous how to break into this. I had a job, but I didn't know about the cultural landscape. I didn't know how people dealt with one another. I didn't know what that was going to be like. So getting that job with him was good because he was very kind and very supportive. And the same thing happened with Room 222. The producer, Gene Reynolds, was that same kind of person. He was very supportive and very available to us as young actors.
Wow. Because you did, speaking of Room 222, you did what, 113 episodes?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Wow.
Yes.
For us today, this is our 270th, and I can imagine what 113 is like.
Yeah, we did. We did. Well, it was a film show, a lot of half-hour shows or tape shows, or they were then, but we were film, one camera film. So each one is like a little movie. So the hours were pretty long. I mean, we would work. If I had to be on the set with hair and makeup and wardrobe at 8 o'clock, that meant I got to 20th Century Fox about 6. Because, it takes a long time to get women ready. So then you would work anywhere from, 8 or 9 hours to 12 hours and filming the whole time. And, you have your breaks and everything, but you had to be young to do it at that point. I mean, I think sometimes now there's no way in the world I could keep a schedule like that. I mean, I would fall out by 11 o'clock. I'd say, okay, it's time for my wine glass and my feet up on the ottoman. That's where, hey, or it's time for me to be in my backyard by my pool with my drink. Okay, it's retirement time. But yeah, it was fun, but it was long hours. It was long hours.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to read the names of just a couple of roles that this lady has had. 1967 to 1969, NYPD. 1972, Blackula. 1979, Marcus Welby, MD. 1977 through 1978, Baby, I'm Back. Remember that show?
Yes.
Great show. 13 episodes for that one.
Yeah.
Then you did Benson with Robert Guillaume and Inga Svensson. Remember her and him?
Who was that?
Good fellow. The Love Boat, 1980 to 1982. Ted Lange. Ted is doing fine. I saw him over the weekend.
Yes, I did 2 of those.
Mm-hmm. Yes, indeed. Magnum PI, 1984.
Yes, that was great. It was a trip to Hawaii.
Yes.
It was great.
1987, something very worked on, got you. You graduated from USC Theater Program with a Bachelor of Arts in Drama. Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
Well, I knew when I left the University of Michigan that I was going to have to go back to school and finish that degree because that's a requirement. It was a requirement in the family. So it was always in the back of my mind. I said, okay, when you have a break, you're going to go back to school and get your undergraduate degree. So I never would. I think in the old days when I was at Michigan, getting a degree in theater I would have scoffed at it. I was I was trying to be Miss Smarty Pants at the University of Michigan. But when I got to SC, I was midpoint in a career. And I said, let me make this as easy as I can for myself. So I said, let's do theater, Denise. So since we know something about it already. So that's what I did. And there were a couple of times during that period when I was able to teach one of the theater history classes because they covered the Free Southern Theater, which I had been in. They covered the Negro Ensemble Company, which I had been in. And they covered a few. So I was like, hey, I know all about this. I could write a paper now. So that worked out well.
And as you picked the school, you call it SC. I have a name for it. You know what I call it?
What?
Ooh, SC. I love that school.
Ooh, I call it expensive.
Oh, yeah, that too. When you got all
it's so crazy because Michigan is a state school.
Yes.
So, it was cheap. You paid your dorm fees and all that part of it. But the university itself for an in-state student was very cheap. By today's standard, really cheap.
Really cheap.
SC was not that. SC was like, good Lord, do I have to mortgage my house and everything else just to get through here? So, yeah.
It's a good school, though. It's a very good school. You'd have most of the professors over there, PhDs. That's what you're paying for. Yep. Yeah. And then here comes another one. The year was 1989 to 1995. This movie came along. Let's see what I have to say with it. You took the role of city councilwoman Harriet DeLong in a little town called Sparta, Mississippi. You know how to say Mississippi, don't you?
Mississippi.
Mississippi. M I crook letter I, crook letter I, humpback I. Yes. In the heat of the night, the hit show. Marvelous. Where is he? There's Bubba. I see Bubba. You had some crazy, great cast.
It was a great cast. Great cast.
And great writing.
Yes.
Because I understand from the periods of 1989 to 1995 that you actually wrote 6 episodes. Can you tell us about that experience?
Yes, it was. And I do talk about this a lot because I knew in the back of my mind that I was going to transition to writing. I didn't know if I was going to be able to do acting and writing at the same time. I wasn't sure about that part. So in the heat of the night, I tested myself. I went in to see Mr. O'Connor and pitched him some stories. I said, look, I want to segue to writing. And he's a writer. He was a writer as well as actor and producer. So he understood my drive to write. So I pitched him, the first story was about the first Black woman who registers to vote in Sparta. And he bought that story on the spot. And so then it was a process of me learning their process in terms of their writing crew. And he was my mentor. So most of my work went directly to him. And most of my rewrites and notes came directly from him because I really wasn't a staff writer. I was an actor who was writing. That's basically.
Got you. Well, like you and I mentioned once before, good reading gives good writing. And that show had some excellent writing. Yeah. When it first came on the air, I looked at it and went, what's that? But it grows on you. It's all over you. I'm looking at it right now as I'm doing this show. There's the top right there.
Great. That is great.
Speaking about. Love the show. I've seen so many episodes 2 and 3 and 4 times, and you can see a different side every time you see it. Yeah, you laugh, you cry, you think about all the work that goes into it. Your son, the guy who plays your son, what his name?
Oh God, you would ask me that.
What his name? He was a rebellious young man.
He was good. He was very good in that role.
Well, he was something else. Oh, he was something. All of it. But of course, O'Connor, classic.
Yes, he was. He was a very special person. Yes. Supportive, very great empathy for people and embracing of people and appreciative of talent. He was there for you. He was there for you. I miss it to this day.
Miss it. Howard Rollins was another one. He's
Brilliant actor.
Carl Weathers, I remember when he came. Yes. Wow. 1997, you were in Living Single.
Yes.
Let's see.
Fun.
Huh?
That was fun.
Oh yeah, it was a very good show. We should bring it back.
It was a sweet show.
Have you seen that show All Rise, the one about the lady judge? It's about a Black lady. She's the judge down downtown LA. They took it off the air. Oprah Winfrey brought it back, so it'll be back again in this coming semester.
Okay, I'll look for it.
It's called All Rise. Excellent. That's a show. We just saw at the top of this interview, we played a little bit of Ritual for you. That came out in 2000.
I hadn't ever seen that scene.
Get back. All right. I'll send it to you.
Please.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay.
And according to IMDb, your last role was Gordon's mother in the movie Proud in the year 2004. So you played some good stuff.
By then I was pretty much writing full time.
Yes.
But this little role came in. It was a small role, but it was required of me to go. It was being shot in New York, upstate New York, and I said, okay, I can get to New York. Okay, I can ride this pony to New York. So that's what I did.
Right.
It was interesting. It was an interesting shoot.
Right. Tony, would you take us to the next slide? And here's a picture that came out from me. This is you. There you are in the book business now.
Yeah, yeah.
That was your first one. Fresh Road. Yeah.
Freshwater Road.
Yes. Tell us about what it was like for you to make that transition.
I think, making that kind of transition at that point in my career, there were two things on my mind. One was I wanted to write. Two was I was reaching an age when it was going to be really difficult for me to get the kind of roles I thought I should get, I thought I should have. So I said, you know what, rather than have the system beat you to a pulp, get out, do the other things that you want to do creatively, and keep your dignity. So that's what I did. It was about what I could see at that point, and thank God a lot has changed since then. I was never going to get the kinds of roles that would help me grow as an actor. It was not going to happen during that period. So, but now it is happening much more, and it's beautiful to see. But I thought, you know what, I have a brain. I'm reasonably well educated. I need to write. And I always wanted to write anyway. It wasn't like some new thing cropped up. That came from high school. I mean, I was always an English nut. I was always the person who was reading. And when I got to University of Michigan, I exempted out of first year English because my scores were so high in that area. Not the same in math, I'm here to say. So, but writing to me was going to be closer to who I am than acting. And it's hard to explain that, but it uses my intellectual self as well as my emotional self and the craft and all the rest that you learn. But it wasn't even that I couldn't get certain parts. Those parts were not written for Black women that show that kind of rigor and that kind of intelligence, that kind of education. So it's better now, thankfully. But I said, it's time for you to do something that is more reflective of the gifts that God gave you. So that's what I did.
Do you miss acting?
No, I really don't. You know what I miss? I miss the perks.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like the food and the this
yes,
and this.
And
yeah.
the limousines and everybody doing your luggage and everybody picking you up to go to the airport in the limousine and calling you to see, are you all right? Do you need anything? That I miss. Trust me. That's the hardest part to let go of, the perks.
Wow.
Back in I don't know what they do now because the money thing is so much huger. I mean, it's like up through the stratosphere now. Yes. But then, I mean, there were, like ABC gave us all Cartier watches at one point. Another point, they gave us beautiful luggage. I mean, they gave us beautiful presents in those days. I'm sure they do even more now. But, perks were something. The perks were cool.
I was an entertainment reporter for a long time, and I used to go to junkets.
Yes.
You know what that's all about.
Yes.
And they would have me go. They'd have us just us as reporters flying back and forth between New York and here and flying. I've been all over the world thanks to them.
Yes.
And I would see all the bennies, we call it, that celebrities got. I used to say, "Wow."
I know. I mean, all through shooting in the heat of the night, which we shot in Georgia.
Yes.
I was flying back and forth between here and Atlanta, and limousine pulls up in front of the house. I'm out the door. Limousine pulls up in front of the house. I'm back in the house. I was like, I love that part. Loved it.
I'm glad you said that, Denise. I have been wanting to write a book for a long time. And you see this pen that I wear, I am a double prostate cancer survivor. And I'd like to write a book as one Black man to the world. It doesn't matter, because every man is going to get prostate cancer, no matter if you live long enough. And I'd like to sit down one day and write a book. Maybe if you get sometime when you get a little chance, I know you do workshops, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
You wanna go to workshop?
Yeah, I'd like to go to your workshop one day and get a chance to learn what that's all about. Yeah, I'd love to. Tell us about how we can get in contact with you for that workshop.
I don't want to do it publicly.
Okay, understand.
Okay.
But yeah, I'd like to do that because again, I think a book like that, like I said, I'm a double prostate cancer survivor.
Yeah.
And I thank the man upstairs every day
Yeah.
My feet step on the ground. I said, thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lord. The book itself, with that book, Freshwater Road, you got that you got a big award for that, but it had a background, I understand, in civil rights. You were involved in civil rights. Can you talk about that?
Well, when I went to Mississippi, it was to join the Free Southern Theater, which was a part of the Free SNCC. Actually, it was under the umbrella of SNCC, Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee. So we performed theater pieces and plays only in the towns where there was a voter registration drive already going on, run by SNCC or COFO, Council of Federated Organizations, of CORE.
Right.
So we worked hand in hand with the civil rights movement going on in Mississippi and Louisiana primarily. But we started in Jackson, Mississippi, which was Mississippi at 1964 was a pretty rough place to be. You know about the 3 civil rights workers who were killed that summer, and all of that was kind of hanging over the whole summer. When I got off the train there that June, those 3 boys, young men, boys really, were missing, and their bodies weren't found until I think it was August 4th. So the pall of that was hanging over everybody and everything that summer. So we were constantly pushing through our fear, pushing through it to get anything done at all. Excuse me. So we did our first tour late that summer. We did a play called In White America by Martin Duberman. It's kind of a historical piece with little short pieces that deal with different episodes in American history that involve Black people. And then we went on to do Pearly Victorious by Ossie Davis. We did some Brecht. We did, what else did we do? We did, while I was there, we did 4 or 5 tours through the state of Mississippi and some stops in Louisiana. And it was, it was Mississippi and it was Louisiana up country. So it was scary. It was terrifying. Let me be really honest. It was terrifying. Most of the time that we were there, we were scared out of our minds. That's the truth.
I was born and raised in New York City, in Harlem. Mm-hmm. And I joined the Navy in 1964. And they sent me to a little place called Memphis, Tennessee. I had a chance to see what you're talking about.
Yeah. How was Memphis at that time? It
was interesting. I did see burning crosses. I did see people with white sheets on. Mm-hmm. I saw a lot of things. For a guy from the North, I had never seen that.
Yeah.
And I learned very quickly what it is when you're out in that book. As I tell my students at the school I teach, there are 4 major parts of this country: North, South, East, and West. So you need to know, and we're all Americans, but it's a very interesting experience. That's all I'll say about that.
I think so. My time in the South gave me a better historical perspective on our journey in this country, because you can read books and read books and read books, but you got to get in that place and feel what it feels, what the terror feels like, what the lackings that people have because they can't vote, they can't do this, they can't take a book out of the library, they can't go to a decent school. I mean, it was just one thing after another. And it taught me the real basis of American racism, because that's the cradle of it is in Mississippi. To me, I always thought Mississippi is like, it's a great teacher, but it's a horrible, horrible history, a horrible history.
Got you. The idea is what I saw with my eyes, I'd seen it on, in movies and whatever. Mm-hmm. Men, women, colored.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I like to tell the story. There were a few of us, we moved the theater to New Orleans after the first tour because Jackson, Mississippi was so oppressive. So we moved to New Orleans, which had a little teeny bit more air to breathe. But a bunch of us, the theater was integrated, of course. And a bunch of us went to a restaurant in the French Quarter. This would be 64, 65. And the waiters came over and they waited on the Black people, but they wouldn't wait on the white people. They said, the law says we have to serve y'all. but we don't have to serve them. It was crazy, 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 crazy.
We got just a few more minutes, but before we leave, Tony, can you put that slide up? This is an honor that you received. Worthy. History maker. Go ahead, lady. History maker.
Thanks.
Wow. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Great place to be in that organization.
Yeah, they're beautiful. It's a beautiful thing.
When I saw that picture, I said, "Got to put that in there, put that in there."
Thank you. Thank you.
I've enjoyed talking to you this time, madam, but we need more time to sit down and talk about it. You're outstanding in what you're doing. Keep on doing what you're doing.
Thank you, Ron.
And if
Thank
there's
you.
anything we can do for you, just let us know.
Thanks.
Again, I want to thank you so much for being here today. Best to you and your family. Definitely.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, veteran, retired actress, author, Denise Nichols. Thank you. We would like to let you know, ladies and gentlemen, we're asking the Actors Squad, Actors Choice Squad, to help us get former baseball great Curt Flood into the Baseball Hall of Fame. Now, as you know, Curt, who passed away January 20th, 1997, he was the husband of one of our wonderful guests, a lady who we see all the time, renowned actress Judy Pace. So all you got to do is go to our Facebook page at www.facebook.com/The Actors Choice, or you can call our office. We have an office at 213-349-3941. It's 213-349-3941. We sincerely thank each and every one of you for being a part of this magnificent award for a great baseball player. Roll it, Tony.
Cliff's a little arrogant, but that's okay. I'm an A-type too. I Googled get well and I got about 900,000 hits, so of course I narrowed it down by typing in healthcare. I was born with a very natural talent for creating subsets, so this brought it down to a very manageable 64,000 hits. I'm visualizing my promotion. 180, 190, 191.
Ladies and gentlemen, my next guest today is a published playwright who has received numerous awards for her talents. She's also aided in the development of over 100, I said that again, 100 solo shows, and still growing strong. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the founder and CEO of Soaring Solar LLC, Jessica Lynn Johnson. Jessica, welcome to the Actors Choice. Welcome. Welcome.
Hi, Ron. Thank you so much for having me.
My pleasure, because somebody did that. There's some guy named Bill. He'll get me. Yeah, that guy.
That guy.
Wow. I also have heard about you over the years because you're a friend of a good friend of mine, Adela Bonds.
Yes.
That lady. Y'all know that y'all get together on a regular basis. Of course, you're on the advisory board member of the LA Women's Theater Festival. That activity is marvelous. You ladies get together and have and Adela, she's always asked me, Ron, can we be on your show? Of course. We will make room for her because of what that organization is trying to do. So back to the 100 solo shows. How do you do that?
Well, I have a magnificent assistant, Yannicka, and luckily I love what I do. I have a passion for solo theater, so it's not work for me. You know, it's just something I enjoy getting to do every day.
That's putting it mildly, what you just said, madam. That is beautiful. Tony, would you put up that next slide? This one deals with you. Oh, okay. We have a statement. You go back one. There's a statement that they actually, there it is. Can you hold that for just a second? Writing a one-person play is like creating a mosaic, collecting one unique piece at a time to form a cohesive whole. You said that. Thank you, Tony. You said that.
I did say that. Yeah, that's definitely the process. I believe in most solo artists, most actors, or non-actors. You know, I'm non-actors come to me too. When they come to me, a lot of times they just have an idea for a solo show and that's it. They have a kernel of an idea. They don't know where it's going or what the arc is or what the structure is or any of that. And I say, that's fine. It's like creating a mosaic. We just take the one piece we do know and we build from there. And pretty soon the whole picture comes together really beautifully.
You are serious about what you do.
I am.
As they say, serious as a heart attack. You are serious in what you do. Like I said, Philip, he's the one who introduced me to. But what he told me, he sent me a press release. And in that press release, I got it right here, was the 6th annual Binge Free Festival. They did it over at the Santa Monica Playhouse.
Yeah.
And as I went through it for 30 days free for people,
yeah,
I saw your name, let's see, October 12th, October 13th, October 15th, October 16th, October 17th, October 19th, October 24th, October 26th, October 27th, October 28th, November 2nd, November 9th. I said, who that lady? Who is that? That's a busy, busy lady.
Yes.
Tell us about that experience, please.
Yeah, so the Santa Monica Playhouse, Evelyn and Chris, who are the main producers of this festival, years ago, I think it was 2016, they came and attended the Hollywood Fringe Festival and saw a client of mine, Carla Delaney, doing her show Voices.
Right.
And they loved her one-woman show. And so they invited her to be a part of what was previously just a festival for their playwrights at their theater. And once they invited Carla and loved her work, I said, I have some other solo artists that you might be interested in who do wonderful solo shows. Would you consider their work? And so that began a beautiful relationship back in 2016 through now. I think this year's festival, they had 11 or so of my clients performing their one-person plays. And it's all grant funded by the city of Santa Monica. So it's free for the public. And then the artists are paid a stipend for performing. And it's a bunch of one-person plays. So it's a fantastic festival.
Creative expression is something that is well known in the acting business. What does it mean to you?
Well, in regard to solo theater, I think it's speaking your truth and standing strong in that truth and understanding that sometimes things might fall away from you when you speak your truth. Not everybody's going to resonate with your truth, and you might lose some friends, some family, some opportunities. But I always find that what you gain is a much better fit when you speak your truth and when you stand for what you believe. The things that are attracted into your life are going to far outweigh anything that you lost. At least that's been my own experience when I've done that.
And the reason I asked that is because last week we had a group, the executive director from the Actors Forward came in and really enjoyed what he had to say. Because and I know a lot of people don't understand it. The median income for an actor, screen actors, actor, is $5,000 a year. How you gonna live?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I might come at this a little differently. First of all, I think you can make a living as a solo artist. It can be very lucrative in the college market.
Okay.
Conferences, conventions, organizations that want a creative way to talk about things. So, some of the shows that I help create deal with mental illness, cancer, domestic abuse, sexual trauma, all kinds of things that people want to have conversation around, but they want a creative way into that conversation. And so they're willing to pay money for that. I mean, I toured for 13 years with my first 2 solo shows, tons of universities and colleges all over the US and abroad, and was able to get paid quite well for that. So I am a believer that your creativity can produce financial and monetary benefits. However, I will say that it doesn't have to. I think creative expression is part of our overall health as human beings. So whether it turns out lucrative financial means or not, doesn't mean that it's not worth our time and our investment to express ourselves creatively, to be whole as humans and fully expressed.
Got you. The platform that you use in your work is called a stage. Mm-hmm. You've never met me before, and we've never met, but I'm going to tell you a little bit about Ron Brewington. I've owned to pick with actors and actresses. They come here from all over the world. I want to be a star. Give me a star. And I said, well, what are you going to do? Well, I'm going to do me some television. Yeah. I'm going to do me some film. Yeah. I said, well, what about stage? Well, I don't do that. I said, what is your problem? Get up on that stage. That's my bone. What do you think?
Oh my goodness, I agree. If you can do stage, and specifically if you can do solo theater, you can do anything. I mean, look at John Leguizamo, who, has 6 one-man shows now. The current one is on Netflix, Latin History for Morons. And he's in tons of film and TV. He has a very lucrative film and television career, and he's still doing theater, one-man shows, and multiple. So one doesn't have to exist without the other, but it's such a challenging genre that if you can really own yourself on stage doing solo theater, then it makes a co-star, a guest star, easy peasy, like no problem.
Wow. I've seen, I mean, when you go to those solo plays, like you say, one person on the stage. Now I've seen you, we're going to show a video in a little bit where you actually one person doing 15 characters. 15 characters.
Yes, and actually my clients have way surpassed me. I have some, like my teacher, Heather Dowling, who teaches for Soaring Solo. She has 40 something characters in her solo shows, so she's already kicked my butt and long surpassed me. But yeah, in mine I had 15.
Is it the clothing that you wear, the way you move your hands? What is it that gets you that 15 number, that number 15?
Yeah, I mean, I think, yes, you can have wardrobe or prop compliments. I personally just find that it's understanding who that character is mentally, spiritually, in the body, in the voice, transforming. I teach a technique specifically for how to embody that many characters in a one-person play, which has a lot to do with my dance background and being in your body and physicalizing that character, and also vocally stepping into what does their sound, what does it sound like when things are said from their point of view and their vocal register.
Does your work qualify you for a Tony?
I'm sorry, what about
Does your work qualify you for a Tony?
I don't know, but that would be an amazing achievement. But solo artists, Sarah Jones, who is my personal favorite solo artist, I know she's won a Tony. She may have won several, I'm not sure, but her shows, Bridge and Tunnel and Sell by Date, are very successful one-woman shows.
Back to the Santa Monica Playhouse for a moment. There's a lady, there's an upcoming event. Let me go first. Let me say this lady, Shelley Fisher. Do you know her?
Shelley Fisher.
That lady right there.
I've met her. I haven't had the pleasure of seeing her work yet, but I know she is involved at the Santa Monica Playhouse.
Oh yeah, she does that hillbilly, that Hebrew hillbilly.
I've definitely heard of it. Yeah, it sounds like a riot. Really.
Oh, it's a riot. You got to go see it. You got to go see it. The pandemic, COVID-19. How did it affect you for what you do in this season?
There's no doubt that it had many tragic and traumatic elements to it, but I always try to remain optimistic in anything and be like, what can I learn from this? And the gift that I received from COVID was really getting skilled on Zoom and using this platform to now work with solo artists all over the world. I was doing that a little bit before this, but now I'm working with clients in Africa, in Canada, in all over the US, in Mexico. It's really expanded my reach because I think I was a little afraid of technology before, and this made me step into it in that way. So that was a gift. And luckily at the Whitefire Theater and also at the Santa Monica Playhouse, they learned really quickly how to live stream on a pretty professional level. So, and with one-person plays, it's pretty safe to have one person on stage live streaming their show. So, it was pretty big blessing that I was able to consistently do the work that I do all throughout the pandemic uninterrupted. I just had to wrap my brain around doing it in a different way and be open to that.
There are a ton of talented people in this town, isn't it?
Yes, there are, with important things to say.
Yes. Give us an example of some of the things that you hear people say, please.
Yeah, let's see. Well, so Catherine Barnes, who's doing Yes, No, Maybe So this coming Tuesday night, as part of the Binge Fringe, she talks about consent, just when it comes to all types of consent. But, I think there's a lot of conversation around just giving our consent in adult situations. And so she has a really adult conversation about that, but uses music and uses multimedia. Or Chemo Barbie, who is performing toward the end of the Santa Monica Binge Fringe Festival, has a conversation about healing from cancer and what that journey is like and how you can remain optimistic and strong throughout such a challenging illness. So things like that, these are important stories that give hope to others and educate others.
Yes. I understand November 2nd, there is at the Playhouse, they're going to have I Had Too Many Feelings upcoming.
Yes, Bethany V. I'm so glad you brought up her show. Yes, because she talks about depression, she talks about medication, she talks about being gay and coming to terms with that, and just gender issues in general. And so lots of big topics, and Bethany's hilarious. She is absolutely hysterical. So she talks about these really serious issues, but you're laughing the entire time and thinking really deeply at the same time.
What's wrong with laughing at serious things? When it's, come on, you can get loose.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Get loose. Let it all hang out. Okay. got a few more minutes. You did an event called ZE, a 30-year-old virgin's quest. Tell us about that, please.
Yeah, so Z was my second one-woman show.
Uh-huh.
And it's a fictitious show. It's inspired by things that happened in my real life, but it was also done from a lot of research that I did around LGBT issues and specifically the transgender community. I grew up with a transgender best friend. One of my cousins is transgender. My ex-fiance and still a dear friend of mine is transgender. So that community is of great importance to me. And I think educating people about the transgender experience is so important, and how to be an ally. And so that's really what Z was about. It was taking a look at gender construction and love. I mean, at the end of the day, it was really just a love story.
We just happen to have a clip. Tony, roll it.
You're going to heaven, right? Because you're straight. Are you straight, pessimist? Are you straight? Stop it! Yes, I am straight. It's dope that you're a virgin. Most girls I know, they're down for whatever, but you protecting your feet, and that's beautiful. You know, you're going.
Johnson, that is good. That is good. Oh, it's amazing. It's amazing to the limits. There is no limits really with what you're doing. The only limit is yourself. That's the only way I look at it. Yeah. If you got something up here that's not working right, you need to go see somebody. You need to go see somebody. Okay. We talked about your organization, Soaring Solo LLC. Can you tell us about it, please?
Yeah, Soaring Solo Studios is dedicated to the direction and development of one-person plays. And I've been teaching a free class for over a decade now. So now it's virtual. But yeah, if you go to soaringSoloStudios.com under free stuff, you can sign up for my free class. I do it once a month, but I have a bunch of other free events that I do throughout the month too. It's important to me that it's accessible to everyone, no matter where you're at financially. And it just allows people to figure out if this is something they want to play with. Do you want to tell your story from stage by yourself? I think it's one of the most challenging and also one of the most rewarding genres that there are.
I'm a student. I want to get into it. How do I contact you?
My free class. Yeah, I think my free class is a great place to start. So yeah, again, just go under free stuff on my website, soaringSoloStudios.com, and sign up. You'll get an email with all the information. And of course, I do coaching as well. If people like to work with me in a private setting, I do one-on-one coaching and small group coaching. We have intensives that focus on specific aspects of solo theater as well, taught by Heather Dowling and also Carla Delaney, who are two of the Soaring Solo instructors. So yeah, there's lots of ways to get involved, but if money is an issue, I do have free offerings, or if you're just curious and want to dabble for free for a little bit.
Yes. Again, you're working with people who one day will be a star, are a star, well on their way, and they get it all from you. What is the satisfaction that you get out of what you do?
I think just knowing that I'm walking my path and very much in alignment with the work I'm supposed to do. I feel that every day when I get joy from working with my clients and just helping them transform. I mean, the way that people come to me and who they become through the process of doing this work are two different people. Transformation is inevitable if you stay the course.
Excellent. Can you tell us about any future projects that you got that you want to talk about?
I would just say tune in for the Binge Fringe Festival. Like I said, it's free and it's through November. And I'm also doing the Revealed virtual reading series. So that's a series on Zoom of brand new solo show readings of scripts. So all these different artists from now through April 2022 are going to be sharing their stories virtually and getting feedback from the audience. So it's a great way to weigh in and say, here's my questions, here's my ideas for your solo show, and see what the process is like to create a one-person play.
Jessica Lynn Johnson, we thank you very much for taking up our time. We learned something today, didn't we, folks? Yeah, we learned something today. Is there a telephone number people can contact you for your organization?
I think the best thing is my website, soaringSoloStudios.com. That's the best way.
That's the best way. Thank you so much. And I'm going to tell that Philip guy about thanking him very much for making this possible for you and I to meet each other. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I want to thank our sponsors, Harvey Randman Photography is an Art, Ron Irwin's Lose Live, The Way to Lose Weight, Larry Beaver's Look to the Future, Time Travel, Message in a Capsule, State Farm Agent Carla Green, and veteran actor Bob Brownstein's Acting Training School and Actor Space. Much thanks to our guest today, retired actress author and social activist Denise Nichols, playwright, actress, director Jessica Lynn Johnson. And of course, special thanks to our ever growing worldwide audience. Be well. We'll see you next time.